The most famous literary son of the Potteries is Arnold Bennett. His novels were closely based on the lives he witnessed here in the latter half of the 19th century. His most famous novel was Anna of the Five Towns. Why 5 instead of 6? Well, because Arnold Bennett left out this place, Fenton. Pottery wasn't the only industry in Stoke-on-Trent. The 6 towns that make up the city were all originally built along the clay and coal seams. This was the site of Glebe Colliery. Now the word glebe means land belonging to a parish church, and this area was associated with the glebe lands of the Church of St Peter ad Vincula. This church, now known as Stoke Minster, is in the town of Stoke itself. People have worshipped on this site for over 1,200 years. The original church was built near the River Trent, so people would literally have come down to the river to pray.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down. Don't you wanna go down? Come on, mothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Tunstall is the most northerly of the 6 towns, and nearby is a clue to why the pottery industry here was so successful: transport. There are more miles of canal in Staffordshire than in any other county in England, including the Harecastle tunnels. When the first one was built in the 1770s, it was twice the length of any other tunnel in the world. I'm going to take a look. Can I catch a lift?
Of course you can, David.
Thank you.
Where to?
Harecastle tunnels, please.
Excellent, that's the way I'm going.
The first tunnel didn't have a towpath, so the boatmen used to have to lie on their backs and push the boat through with their feet. Fortunately, this one's got an engine. Our fifth town is the town of Stoke itself, where the artist and sculptor Arnold Machin was born in 1911. Now you might not realize it, but you're already very familiar with one of his works. In fact, if you've sent a letter in the last 45 years, you've probably licked the back of it.
My Uncle Arnold was a fascinating man. Of course, as a young child, you never appreciate what he had achieved. You know, you think everyone's uncle did a picture of the Queen that appeared on a stamp. He came from a potter's family. His father and his elder brothers were already working in the potteries, and he was going to be an apprentice.
So he was from a working class background?
Oh, completely. I mean, at the age of 16, he was at Minton's gilding plates. At the time working for Minton, they had a workers' library. And he educated himself. The big thing that I think actually really pushed him forward was actually the war, the Second War. Because of what had happened to his brothers in the First War, he was a conscientious objector. So when Arnold received his call-up papers, the bit of document that said, you know, Mr. Machin, present yourself for a medical, you had to go along. If you didn't go along, you were sent to prison. So while his health was very poor and he knew he was going to fail the medical, he decided not to go because that was his principle. So he stuck to his principles. He was put in front of the magistrate in London and then sent to worm and scrubs for 12 months. He was a deeply spiritual man. Mm-hmm. And a great deal of his art at that time was entirely religious in its nature. I mean, St. John the Baptist was the best-known piece that was produced in the 40s. And that was entirely driven by his experiences of war.
So can you explain how a conscientious objector goes in 2 decades from that status to being the person commissioned to design the most iconic image of the monarch?
In the early 60s, the Mint decided they had to start designing the decimal coins. Arnold set to work with some other designers and produced the best thing the committee had seen. John Betjeman was involved, and the story goes that he said he's made Her Majesty look a little bit sexy. And then at the same time, the Stamp Advisory Committee were meeting to look at changing the design of the stamps. When people look back at this age, and they're looking for something to put on the poster that says the age of Elizabeth, it will be his head that will be used. It's that iconic figure.
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hand hath made, I see the stars, I hear the mighty thunder, thy path throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Saviour God, to